Good evening and welcome to the 427th meeting of the New York Comics and Picture-story Symposium. This is a weekly lecture series on comics, animation, illustration, and other text image work. It's funded in part by the Will and Ann Eisner Family Foundation and the New School. Our guest tonight is Fahmi Reza. Fahmi is a Malaysian political graphic designer, street artist, and documentary filmmaker. He is best known for depicting Malaysia's sixth Prime Minister, Najib Razak, as a clown. And you'll see images of that. And tonight's symposium will be moderated by Lim Cheng Tju. Lim Cheng Tju, or CT, writes about history and popular culture. He is the Singapore country editor for the International Journal of Comic Arts, and his latest book, if this is up to date, is Drawn to Satire, Sketches of Cartoonists in Singapore, a comic book about comic artists. I don't know if you have anything that up to date?
That's correct, Ben. Thanks.
Okay, so take it away, Fahmi and CT. You want to start with a little film?
Maybe I start with an intro to Fahmi
Okay,
first.
sure.
Yeah, to set the context. Yeah. So thanks, Ben, and thanks, Fahmi, for joining us. So the comic symposium, is largely covering comics from North America and Europe. So I've known Ben for a long time, and thanks to him, I've been given a chance to introduce Asian comics to the New York audience. I featured Wen Bing Sing, the first Singapore comic artist who is published by Drawn Quarterly, and the third book with them just came out, Wake Up, Pixoto, and that's very good. And just last year, all right, we featured one of Malaysia's pioneer cartoonists, Lat, and we also featured Wang Feishan, publisher of slow work from Taiwan, publishes social conscious and political works. So today I'm very happy to invite Fahmi Reza to be on the show. He does not do interviews much at all and does not participate in such broadcasts. So, but to me, he's one of the most important artists working in Malaysia today. He's an activist, satirist, a street artist. He calls himself a political graphic designer. He does not consider himself a cartoonist, but would say his work rivals the best political cartoons in the world in terms of power and impact. Now, interestingly, I first got to know Fahmi not through his art, but from his documentary film, 10 Years Before Independence, which presents a story of Malaysian struggle for independence and the contributions of the political left. So I bought this DVD back in 2007. I enjoyed watching it. I lent to a friend and he lost it. So that's really sad. Yeah. So, okay, so just to give a bit of context before I let Fahmi do his magic and show his video. Basically, Malaysia gained its independence from the British in 1957. And from 57 up to about, I think, around 2019, Fahmi, correct me if I'm wrong, the political party UMNO was in power. All right. And
2018 until 2018 for 61
yes.
years. We had the same
61
ruling
years.
party.
Yeah. So one single ruling party in power. All right. Of course, you have opposition, but that was the main party, UMNO. And in the 80s, it was ruled by the Prime Minister Mahathir, which I think will be mentioned later. And later on, Mahathir was succeeded by another Prime Minister from UMNO called Najib, who is Fahmi's nemesis. Okay, so I think that's the context that I will set. And yeah, Fahmi, take it away.
Okay, I'm just gonna show this 5-minute video because I think thank you guys that came on time, because I thought it was just a Malaysian thing, that we don't start things on time. But I guess over in the States as well, it's the same all over the world. So, but I think, yeah, I like to start things on time. So let me just, as an introduction, let me share with you this short 5-minute video, about me and my work.
Aku rasa kat Malaysia ni masih ramai orang yang takut nak bersuara. Pemerintah negara kita suka gunakan macam-macam undang-undang dan polis untuk tutup mulut rakyat. Sebab tu aku buat apa yang aku buat. Aku hanya orang biasa. Sejak tahun 2001 aku dah gunakan seni grafik, aktivisme dan politik untuk bantu gerakan rakyat yang cuba bawa perubahan kat negara kita. Aku dapat kesedaran politik aku masa aku dekat universiti. Tapi bukan daripada dulu kuliah, daripada music park. Kerja-kerja grafik awal aku buat design flyers untuk punk punya gigs.
Jadi aku dah gunakan seni reka grafik sebagai medium untuk aktivisme sejak zaman Mahathir pertama kali jadi PM, zaman Pak La dan sampailah zaman Najib naik jadi PM. Lepas Najib jadi PM, salah satu projek dia ialah projek 1MDB lah. One Malaysia Development Berhad.
And if it is from 1MDB funds, would UMNO return it?
It's not from 1MDB fund because my conscience is clear.
Ya, Najib gunakan macam-macam bullshit and lies untuk cover up dia punya korupsi yang jadikan kita punya whole country itu a circus and a joke, dan joker paling besar ialah Najib lah. Tahun 2015 saja, kerajaan gunakan Akta Hasutan sebanyak 91 kali untuk siasat, tangkap dan dakwa orang yang bersuara. Masa tu aku terus keluarkan satu grafik protes baru. Aku ambil official portrait Najib dari Facebook page dia dan aku conteng make up muka badut. Dalam negara yang penuh dengan korupsi, kita semua pengasut. Badut memang kelakar. Kau tengok muka badut, kau akan tersenyum lah. Efek humor ni ialah bila orang gelak especially bila kita gelakkan orang yang lebih berkuasa dari kita kesan ni ialah menghilangkan rasa takut. Rakyat Malaysia ni ramai yang takut. Tapi daripada kempen badut dan kita semua pengasut, kita nampak ramai orang tak takut untuk sebarkan imej ni.
Kita semua pengasut, banyak dari kami yang ikat perut di bawah penguasa si badut.
Seni adalah senjata yang boleh menggugat penguasa.
Aku rasa satu mesej penting yang aku harap orang nampak daripada kempen badut dan kita semua pengasuh ni ialah peranan graphic design dan peranan mereka grafik dalam gerakan untuk perubahan. Dalam sebuah negara yang authoritarian, cukup untuk kita sebagai mereka grafik hanya buat kerja-kerja korporat. Graphic design sebagai sebuah medium komunikasi, ianya satu medium yang sangat powerful dan efektif untuk communicate sesuatu mesej.
Aku rasa salah satu kesan benda ni ialah the culture of protest and resistance kat Malaysia right now is growing stronger. Dan kempen aku dengan kita semua pengasuh ni juga melibatkan orang biasa. Orang-orang ni bukan aktivis, ni budak-budak biasa je, budak sekolah pun join sekali untuk ekspresikan bantahan dia dengan muka badut Najib ni. Now, lebih ramai orang tak takut untuk bersuara, tak takut untuk mengkritik penguasa dan tak takut untuk gunakan seni sebagai senjata.
Najib Razak didapati bersalah atas 7 pertuduhan salah guna kuasa, pecah amanah dan pengubahan wang haram membabitkan dana bernilai 42 juta ringgit milik SRC International Sendirian Berhad. Bekas Perdana Menteri itu kelihatan tenang.
Walaupun kita dah berjaya tumbangkan rejim UMNO dan Barisan Nasional, Najib dah kena dakwa, dah didapati bersalah tapi tak bermaksud perjuangan kita dah selesai.
Aku bersedia untuk masuk penjara untuk pertahankan hak dan kebebasan aku untuk gunakan seni grafik sebagai senjata.
Yep. Go ahead, Siti.
Yeah, thanks for that, Fahmi. So before I continue, I just want to apologize. Okay, maybe just to explain, it is 7 p.m. or 7 plus in New York now, but over in Southeast Asia, in Singapore, Malaysia, it's 7 a.m. So actually, I'm on my way to work. I stopped by a train station to do this Zoom call. Yeah, so you'll hear some train announcements. I think Fahmi will understand some of it in Malay as well. All right, watch out.
Yes.
Watch your step, don't fall. Yeah, but okay. So back to the topic at hand. Um, okay, so that's why I really enjoy the medium of cartoons and comics and all that, because actually, they reflect society. In fact, you learn history from them. So even from watching that short video just now, all right, you learn a bit about the political history of Malaysia, all right, in a few minutes. All right. The rise and fall of UMNO, and of course you have Mahathir, and then you have Najib, right? So okay, so I think there's no spoiler lah, right? Najib is out of power now, and maybe
Yep.
Fahmi has a part to play in it. Okay, so I'll just jump straight to the question I think I have in my mind lah, right? With Najib out of power now, why are you still drawing and protesting in some ways? Yeah.
Najib, I think Najib is the most corrupt prime minister we had in history lah, So right now he's serving his 12-year jail sentence for corruption that he done when he was in power. But even though we had, I think, several change of governments and several prime ministers after Najib, one thing for sure, every single one of the prime minister, they all came from the same ruling party, or UMNO. Right? The current prime minister, Anwar Ibrahim, yeah, he was in UMNO, the previous ruling party, the previous conservative, authoritarian, right-wing, race-based party, UMNO. He was the, I think, second in command in
DPM,
UMNO for. Yeah, he was not
deputy
just
prime minister.
he was the deputy prime minister under Mahathir, this authoritarian prime minister that was in office for 22 years. Yeah, and we call ourselves a democracy. And he was the deputy prime minister until he was sacked in 1998. So they all came, all these prime ministers, even including Anwar Ibrahim, came from the same mold, even though he, I think, presents himself as a reformer, yeah, and made all these promises before he gets into power. But if you look now, 2 years into his administration, so very few reforms. For example, the colonial era law, Sedition Act, that was introduced by the British colonial government when they were, colonizing us, Malaysia, Singapore for over 150 years, the Sedition Act that was introduced by the British in 1948, before the country gained independence, is still, it's still in the system. It's still being used, Just a couple of days ago, someone got arrested for criticizing the monarchy. We also have kings. We have 9 of them in Malaysia, and the sedition law have been used by the government to go after people who, for just simply speaking their mind online. So I think as an activist, we need to continue the fight against, all forms of, injustice, the attempts of, the government to silence, their critics. So that's why, even though Najib is not in power, the system maintains. It's still the same system. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that is the present. So I thought maybe we can go back a bit in time, because
Okay.
I think last week you shared with me and Ben, how you got into this street art, your first protest of sorts in 2003. How you got arrested. But interestingly, you also shared that actually you were some sort of a government scholar, right? Before that,
Oh
you were
yeah.
sent to educate in America, and you're supposed to come back and work for the government. Yeah. Maybe you can talk about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I can. Yeah, so let me just. I think I like to show and tell lah, yeah, because
Yeah, sure, sure.
yeah. So I was okay. Let me just share my screen again. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Okay. So immediately, this is my student ID when I was in high school. Uh, so immediately after I finished high school, uh, so that's me. So I grew up during the Mahathir era. He was the prime minister for 22 years from 1981 to 2003. I was born in 77. So yeah, so throughout my, I grew up with knowing only one prime minister until I finished college. Yeah. So immediately after I finished high school, I received a scholarship to study in the US uh, at Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee from 1995 to 1999 to study electrical engineering. So it was during this period that I gained my political awareness and my political consciousness, not just through my lectures because I studied engineering, not through my studies, but through punk music, protest music. I started listening to punk in 1992 when I was 15. But it was only after I, continued my studies in the States that I was exposed to the whole punk subculture, the DIY ethic, the punk ethic. And this is a photo of me when I was 19 with my punk friends back in Nashville, Tennessee. So I was immersed myself in the whole punk subculture throughout the 5 years I was there. This is a photo of my dorm room in college, filled with all these punk posters, records, guitar and other punk stuff. Yeah, this is my crusty punk jeans that I wore for 4 years in university. I even have my own punk radio show in college called Trash Till Death. And I also learned to do graphic design because of punk. So I learned about the DIY punk ethic, like I mentioned earlier, do it yourself, where punks, they wrote their own songs, released their own music, on their own labels, organized their own shows, and design their own artwork. Yeah, that's how I learned to design posters and flyers for punk shows. So these are actual photos that I designed back in 1996, my first and second year of university. And back then, it's before digital illustration. Everything is hand-drawn, 100% hand-drawn, hand lettering, just black and white, cut and paste, photocopied, DIY, do it yourself. So that's a bit of some background lah, kan, that actually I studied in the States lah, in Nashville for 4 years.
Yeah, so actually reminds me of Raymond Pettibone, right? The famous artist for Black
Yeah,
Flag,
design a
Sonic
lot Black
Youth.
Flag.
Yeah, and it's art and punk, and he did posters as well and all that. Yeah, so that the whole DIY spirit lah, the whole DIY tradition. Yeah.
Yep.
So after you came back from America, do you work for the government and maybe receive a scholarship or there a bond?
Yeah, there was a 10-year bond, but I didn't work a single day for the government. No way, man.
They didn't come after you. They were like, hey, you must go and
Nah,
work
you
for
know
us.
what I did after I came back? After I came back, I started my own punk band. And so I played in a political punk band called Skull Crusher. I played guitar and I sang backing vocals and wrote all the lyrics. We sang about politics, trying to raise awareness about important political issues in Malaysia at that time. Also, fighting against the government. Yeah, this is one of the posters that I designed for one of our shows in Malaysia. So that's what I did. Instead of working for the government, I started my own punk band to fight against the government.
Because I think you came back to Malaysia in 99, right? And that's just
I
after
came back in early 2000, after
okay.
Reformasi. Yeah, so after
Reformasi.
Reformasi.
I think that's the context because in 1997 we had the Asian financial crisis. In 98, a lot of the government in Southeast Asia were destabilized. think
Now,
Mahathir was
Indonesia,
affected.
toppled the regime. Yeah, the Suharto
Correct.
regime in
Yeah,
98
Suharto.
in their reformasi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that is the context. That's the spirit of the times. A lot of people were actually seeing all these problems in their countries in Southeast Asia, and they're protesting. So
Yeah.
you came back right smack in the middle of that. Yeah. So that's also explain your activism lah. So you want to talk about okay, from punk to politics, right? When you start
No, I think the
drawing
context,
for
I think in Malaysia during Mahathir era, I think before 2018, I guess, yeah. In Malaysia, we cannot criticize the government. It's a dangerous game to criticize the government. Back in the 90s, back in the 2000s, even the 2010s, yeah. You don't, political satire against the prime minister is unheard of. Yeah. Back then, people are really fearful of the prime minister and the government because they have so many laws. They use the laws, to arrest people for just criticizing the prime minister. You remember Siti M. Nasir?
Yeah.
He just posed a question, who's Mahathir? Yeah. And he got, I think, banned from TV, blacklisted from, government programs and whatnot for just asking the question, who's Mahathir? Mahathir was the prime minister at that time. And I remember, as a teenager, after being, because I studied in the States, in America, political satire, making fun of the government and even the president, it's a normal thing, as part of free speech. Yeah. Citizens, people should have the right to criticize the government, the people who we, elect, who derive their power from us, their citizens. So I always felt after coming back to Malaysia in early 2000s, and when Mahathir was still prime minister, I always felt I want to change this thing. We should be allowed to criticize, the prime minister and the government without, being afraid. I made it a mission to do just that. So I'm happy to report, now in 2025, we can make fun of the prime minister without being arrested. But, but we had to pay a lot in the process, I got arrested, I think 8 times. Yeah. I got arrested 8 times. I was charged in court. I was banned, from traveling abroad and all this, part and parcel of, the fight to gain our freedom, and this freedom that you guys in the States, I guess you guys take it for granted, but over in Malaysia and in Singapore, it's a hard battle, but for example, in Singapore, until today, the people in Singapore are still afraid of criticizing their government. Like, you don't see political cartoonists, publicly, openly, making, insult their prime minister, isn't that right, Siti? But in Malaysia, I think we changed that. We changed that, in at least after 20 years of doing activism work, I can safely say that now in Malaysia, we have the freedom, to make fun of our prime minister, to satirize, to give them a middle finger, even to the prime minister, to say, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, fuck you, and we won't get into trouble. Compared to just 20 years ago, or not 20 years ago, even like 10 years ago. Yeah, I can easily get arrested for just criticizing the prime minister. So how much things have changed just to give that context
Yes.
to you guys.
Because last week, when we were talking, you also show us a video of the first protest you participated, and so I just want to ask, were you afraid when you went there? Because I think you also shared with us, you were very surprised, like that, how they came after you, and that also say something, right? Say something about art, the power of art.
Yeah. So a bit about protests again. Protests used to be illegal in Malaysia because every single public assembly or protest, you need to apply for police permit. So back in 2003, I attended. So street protests and demonstrations in Malaysia like this, there will always be riot police waiting for us protesters, and they will always be arrested. Yeah, but in 2003, I was one of the first protests that I attended after I came back home post 9/11. 2003, your stupid President Bush, attacked Iraq. Yeah. So together with my friends, we co-organized our own street protests against the Iraq war. So that's me holding the black flag. Yeah, I designed the banner for the protests that says "Together we can stop the war" in front of the U.S. American Embassy in Kuala Lumpur, across the street from us. Yeah, a row of riot police still present, in front of the U.S. Embassy. And the first time I got arrested was 21 years ago in 2004. I helped organize another protest, this time on the issue of death in police custody. Even though I said, protests are illegal in Malaysia, but we still do it. We still do it because we want to push, to fight for our right for freedom of assembly, the right to protest. Yeah. So one of the big issues back in 20 years ago was the issue of death in police custody. Yeah, like this article reads, the culture of impunity. People keep dying in Malaysian police custody. So many cases of people who got arrested, detained in police lockup, and end up dead. Yeah, but no police officers will ever charge for causing their deaths. These are some of the, faces of the posters I designed, victims, of police violence. So I was tasked at designing the main poster for the protest. So this is the poster that I designed. Yeah, the slogan says, "Stop the abuse of police powers." I also designed the banners. I was one of the first to arrive, with all the placards that I painted for the protest. The banner says, "Justice for the victims of police violence." So a bunch of us, activists, human rights activists, and family members of the victims, people who died in custody, were there in front of the police headquarters in Kuala Lumpur to hand in, our protest memorandum, against the police. But waiting for us was the riot police in full riot gear, complete with this red water cannon truck, filled with chemical water. So there were more police officers than protesters. And after less than 1 hour into our protest, I was the first to get arrested. I got violently arrested by the police officers who were wearing plain clothes. So that was me. On the floor, on the ground, I was punched and kicked by the police officers that arrested me. That's me during my arrest. Even my shirt, was torn off. Yeah, that's the shirt I was wearing. And the t-shirt says, "Stop police violence." So I was targeted because of the posters and banners that I designed for the protest. I was handcuffed. One officer was so angry at me, over the poster. He slapped me in the face twice. Not even my mother slapped me in the face. But I actually found out, it was the first time I got slapped in the face, as I can vividly remember. But I felt that it's not so bad, getting slapped in the face. Not so hurt. And it was the first time I got arrested, the first time I was interrogated by police, and the first time I got detained in police lockup, But, I panicked when I got arrested. I wasn't prepared mentally, to be arrested and spend time in police lockup. But fortunately, I survived. And two things I learned from this experience. One, that art, can be a threat to the people in power. And number two, the importance of fighting against injustice. It happened to me, before I only read or hear stories, about people, getting, brutalized by the police, arrested and locked up, for just speaking out, for just protesting, but it happened to me, So it was this single incident that turned me into this activist that I am today, solidifying my commitment in using art, and comics and cartoons and design, and drawings, illustrations as a weapon, for protests and activism until this day.
Yeah, thanks for that. Because when you were sharing with us last week, it was very powerful. The two things that you say, actually most of us, because we're only ordinary folks, right? We are not prepared for many of these things. All right.
Yeah, no one is prepared. I wasn't prepared. back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah. And but of course, once you cross that threshold, it changes you, lah, right? It changes
Oh
you
yeah,
to
yeah.
someone else.
No more
all right?
fear, man. Yeah.
And two, the power of art, right? Because like you say, they could have targeted anyone, they could have gone for anyone, but they went straight for you, and you're the first to go down, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So I think it proves that they are afraid also, right? It also proves that they are afraid. So I think that's a powerful example of the power of art. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like cause and effect, lah, right? You know, at first maybe you're not so hardcore, but after what they did to you, you're even more hardcore, right? They don't
Oh
actually
yeah.
intimidate you, they don't frighten you. Yeah. 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 I'd like to move forward and maybe talk about your most famous image ever, right? To me, all right, the clown. You talk about the clown.
Yeah, the clown. You want me to share that story about the clown?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, before that, the 1MD, are you guys familiar with the 1MDB corruption scandal that broke out in 2015? The Wall Street Journal actually, broke the story back in 2015. News came out, the 1MDB scandal. Deposits in Malaysia's leader Najib's account said to top 1 billion. Can you imagine? Investigators, found 1 billion US dollars, was found in the Prime Minister's personal bank account. And when investigators traced where the money came from, it came from 1MDB, One Malaysia Development Berhad. The country's investment arm, to raise money for the country lah kan. But instead, the Prime Minister Najib used it to siphon 1 billion US dollars, for his own profit. So immediately after that news broke out in mid-2015, first I came up with this fake coloring page. It's a parody of a children's coloring book. A for apple, B for C for cat. So it's a page for the letter K for corruptor. And I posted it on my Facebook account and social media. And by that time, I was already, actively sharing my illustration and political satire art through social media. And then it was so well received at that time. So the next day I posted another page from this fake coloring book, D for dictator, for Mahathir. Remember the prime minister that was in office for 22 years. Yeah. So I drew him as a dictator, giving a middle finger to us, the people. And the both was so well received. Every single day after that, I came up with a new page from this, fake coloring book. After a month, it was complete. Yeah. And I call it the ABCs of Malaysian politicians. Just satirical drawing, making fun of the Malaysian politicians. So I came up first with this coloring book, which is quite controversial, but yeah, fortunately, it didn't get me into trouble. I even showed the caricature Mahathir in front of his face. Yeah, it's basically him giving himself it's me giving him the middle finger through my caricature of him giving the middle finger. So fast forward 6 months later, after the scandal broke out, I made this caricature of Najib, the corrupt prime minister with 1 billion. You stole 1 billion, Malaysian ringgit from his own citizen. I drew him as a clown.
This is Malaysia's Prime Minister Najib Razak, and this is his caricature by graphic designer Fahmi Reza. The artist has been arrested twice since the drawing went viral on social media early this year. Mr. Fahmi faces up to 2 years in prison under the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Act. According to the government charges, the image is false and meant to annoy others. Mr. Fahmi says he is innocent.
I'm being charged
for expressing myself in a democratic country.
Mr. Fahmi says he is using his art as a political weapon against alleged large-scale corruption in the country, which he blames on the Prime Minister.
So I came up with this design, after news, broke out that after 6 months of investigation, the Attorney General, the Malaysian Attorney General, released Najib from any wrongdoing. Najib did no wrong. And then at the same time, the Amnesty International Malaysia released a report that said in 2015 alone, the Malaysian government, Najib, used the Sedition Act, Sedition Law 91 times to investigate, arrest, and charge people who spoke up against his corruption. So I took his photo from his official Facebook page, turned it black and white, and painted a clown makeup over his face with the caption, in 2015, the Sedition Act was used 91 times, but in a country full of corruption, we are all seditious, referring to the sedition law. Because they are so fucking corrupted, that anyone who speak out against the government is considered as, seditious. So that's hence the slogan, we are all seditious. Within 3 hours, I received warning from the police, warning me on Twitter to use, the internet, social media, politely, prudently, and according to the law. So I took their warning and, make fun of it. Made another satirical poster. Warning, your Twitter account is under police surveillance. Please use it politely. And and then I reshared the same clown image, in defiance, against the police warning. The next day, I received police reports were made against me by the people from the ruling party. Immediately, because after I got arrested 20 years ago, every time an activist or citizen got arrested by the government for speaking out, I always designed, a solidarity poster in solidarity with, my fellow citizen, who are fighting against the government. So when it was my turn, to be arrested, before I got arrested, other designers started, came up with all these solidarity posters, in solidarity with me. So that's part of the culture of, solidarity that we, I think managed to create. So, and then, besides that, other graphic designers, also in an act of solidarity, started designing, and releasing their own version of Najib, in clown makeup. And in every single poster, they will plaster the slogan, kita semua penghasut. We are all seditious. We are all agitators. And within 1 week, almost 100 posters, clown posters, started popping up, all over social media. So what started out as a single clown poster, gave birth to this, online social media protests through posters, through visuals, through graphics, and to escalate I think the fight against the government, because the government, the police and the government are gonna come after me anyway. So, might as well I just go all out. So to bring the protests offline, into the real world, I designed, I used the image on t-shirts, protest t-shirts. And instead of just printing and selling it on my own, I recruited 40 t-shirt printers from every single state all around Malaysia, because if I print and sell the t-shirt, the police will just come, and arrest me and confiscate all my t-shirts and printing supplies. But I know there are many DIY t-shirt printers, all over the country, so I recruited 40 of them to print and sell the t-shirt, and profits from the t-shirts to be donated to activist groups in their hometown. So within within 3 weeks, they sold 2,400 T-shirts all around the country. And the young people that bought the T-shirt, wear the T-shirt and take selfies of them wearing the T-shirt and sharing it on social media under the hashtag Kita Semua Penghasut. We are all seditious. These are some of the photos of all this, turned it into their profile picture as well. I designed other clown T-shirts after that as well. And I got arrested under the sedition law over the T-shirt. But I didn't stop there. To, escalate the protest further, I started using street art.
When Four Corners arrived in Malaysia 3 weeks ago, we found a country transformed by fear of its Prime Minister.
I think there is an atmosphere of total terror. It's an incredibly difficult situation for every individual trying to carry out their jobs.
You see, the problem in this country is that everybody is so scared of the Prime Minister.
In Malaysia today, dissidents are silenced, political opponents are jailed, and news organisations are shut down. But people are still finding ways to protest. Street artist Fahmi Reza's image of Prime Minister Najib Razak as a clown has gone viral.
I designed the poster and posted it on my social media sites, on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And I received a warning from the Malaysian Twitter police, warning me for posting the poster.
Why? What's wrong?
And not just a warning, I've also been investigated for making the poster. I'm being investigated under there's two charges. One is under the Communications Act, another one under the Penal Code for this poster alone.
Why? Why are they cracking down on it?
Someone wasn't happy with the image and made a police report against me.
Authorities are on the lookout for anti-government critics everywhere. Within hours, Fahmi Reza's new poster had been torn down after a visit by police.
What's happened?
Yeah, 8 hours later, something like that, Don't know exactly when. But when I talked to the car attendant here at the parking lot, they said the police came here at around 8 p.m. last night, asking him so many questions about the poster, who did it, This is just one more way for them to silence dissent in this country.
I think you leave this place.
Okay.
Because why?
Yeah?
Why should we leave?
Because he put the stick as a poster.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
It's against the law.
It's against the law to put up a poster?
Yeah. My Prime Minister, this country's Prime Minister's photo.
Yes.
That is very bad.
But why can't we, as citizens, express ourselves?
I call the police now, you could talk to them.
Why do you want to call the police?
Because he did something wrong. This is our Malaysian law.
Right.
Yeah, we cannot tell bad things about our Prime Minister.
There's no law that says we cannot say bad things about the Prime Minister.
Okay, I'll go and call the police.
So you're going to call the police on me?
Yeah.
The guy actually called the police on me. So this poster only lasted less than 8 hours lah. But of course, I share about it on social media. So people were angry, This is another way, another attempt of the government try to silence, our voice, to silence dissent. So people ask me to share with them the digital file of the artwork. So I turned it into PDF and uploaded it on Mediafire, as I remember, for people to download. And you know what the people did? People downloaded the image, the cartoon, printed them out and started pasted the poster, in their own hometown. So posters started appearing, all in cities, throughout Malaysia. In a month, 80, big clown Najib posters appeared in 30 different cities throughout the country, and people started using it, as a protest symbol. And young people started to, make fan art using the clown, pasting it on their tote bags, spray painted it on their skateboards, turn them into badges. And these are some of the, drawings, clown drawings, made by young people. Even high school students join in the protest using the clown caricature, cartoon, as their similar protests, drew the clown on their uniforms as a way to protest. On Halloween, someone even dressed up as the Najib clown. And a local punk band from Kuala Lumpur even wrote a song, Kita Semua Pengasut, We Are All Seditious.
Kita semua pengasut, banyak dari kami yang ikut perut di bawah penguasa si badut.
So I continue, to use graffiti, street art, pasted more posters on the streets, using the clown symbol, as a way to protest. And there was a total mainstream media blackout in Malaysia. No mainstream media ever reported about, the clown protest graphic and how it went viral. Only this came out in the Thai newspaper. And at the end of 2016, thousands of Malaysians march on the streets, calling from Prime Minister Najib to step down over his involvement in the 1MDB scandal. Look at that. This is in front of the Twin Towers, KLCC. I was there with the clown poster as my protest sign. And at the end of that rally, I got arrested, and was locked up for 3 days because of the clown protest sign I carried. The government came after me hard. I was charged in court, under two different charges, using the government used the country's internet law, the Communications and Multimedia Act, to come after me. And the law specifically says it's actually a crime for anyone to upload or post anything online that is offensive in nature with the intention of annoying another person. So we still have that law, it's against the law to post any, offensive thing that the government, considered as offensive. So I was charged, over the clown poster, cartoon. I was barred from leaving the country because of it. And after a 2 years trial in February 2018, I was found guilty and sentenced to 1 month prison and a 30,000 ringgit fine. That's about, I don't know, maybe 7,000 US dollars. And you know what I did to pay the fine? as a middle finger to the government, and as an act of civil disobedience, I designed new protest stickers, new clown graphics, 15 new stickers in a pack, a new protest t-shirt with Najib as a clown, an enamel pin, a lapel pin, and a notebook, like a school notebook, with the clown prominently displayed on the front cover, and sold everything as merchandise, new protest merchandise, sold everything for 100 ringgit for me to raise funds to pay the fine. And I opened pre-order for people to, buy it early, pre-order. And guess what? I raised 30,000 ringgit profit in 18 hours to pay the stupid fine from the government. And not just that, the clown even came out on a K-pop music video.
Phenomenal that it has fanatics from all over
I'll
the
just
world.
skip the video. So it came out on this controversial Najib clown makes appearance in the K-pop music video. So funny. So it's so popular. The protest graphic, it even appeared in a K-pop music video. I finally found out that the music video was shot at a pizza joint in Seoul. So 2 years back, I was in Seoul to do theater, and I found the poster. Still, that. Until today. I even entered this online Vans custom design competition. It's like open for anyone to submit their design to be voted online. So just to troll and just to, just to spread the protest work more, I entered the competition and, made this ugly, clown shoe with Najib's face on the shoe lah. And you know what? That shoe design received the most votes in Vans Asia competition. 16,222 people voted for this ugly clown design. And the clown also appeared on as the poster for this documentary on the 1MDB scandal called The Kleptocrats. And I continued, never stopped for 2 years, continued making new design protest artwork, to remind people that Najib, we still get no justice. So in May 2018, was the day, 9th May 2018, was the 14th general elections. And for the first time, in history, the ruling party, after 61 years in power, lost that election. So Philippines, changed their regime in 1986 through their people power movement. Indonesia, brought down their regime in 1998 through the Reformasi movement. And Malaysia, a little bit late, but we finally brought down the regime, after 61 years in power in 2018 through the ballot, surprisingly, so Najib was arrested over his involvement in the 1MDB scandal, and more than 24 charges against him. And after 2 years of trial in 2020, he was found guilty for corruption. It's like a day of victory for the people, especially people who fought, against Najib. Finally, we were vindicated. So Najib was sentenced to 12 years jail and a 210 million ringgit fine. And to celebrate our victory, I designed a new poster and pasted it on the streets of KL. Someone tried to, tear off the poster. The owner of that building put up a plexiglass over that poster. So this is the one and only clown poster that are still, up there in the streets of KL. The rest all run down. And after 2 years of appeal in 2022, Najib lost his appeal at the higher court and federal court. And right now, he is in Kajang prison, serving his 12 years sentence, over his involvement in corruption. So, we can fight. I was, part of the movement, in Malaysia of citizens, coming together to bring down our regime. And I was part of it, using my art as a weapon. So that's the story. That's the clown story.
Okay, that's really amazing narrative. I also learned new things, but some of this also not reported. So I think at this point, I just want to open up to the floor, to the Q&A, because I'm sure those listening in will have questions. And I want to give them a chance to ask you questions.
I had a question. What do you know about U.S. involvement in Malaysian politics and social life, like the National Endowment for Democracy and USAID spend? What is that money going for? What are they doing with this money?
So I think there are a lot of all these Malaysian, American philanthropists and whatever foundations that supports like the civil society in Malaysia, the NGO work. Even Anwar Ibrahim and his party, back when they were in the opposition, I think received money, receive money and support from, all these US, whatever foundations. So it's not to support the Malaysian government, it's to support civil society work, but I never take any money from America or all their foundations. Yeah,
Right.
even
So
remember
where?
at CT how they always try to, George Soros,
Yeah.
always blame George Soros, even back in the 90s. Yeah, blame George Soros. And I think George Soros and his whatever foundation are always blame, even during the Arab Spring in 2011. They always try to blame any, uprisings or movements to topple governments to, George Soros and America, funds from America.
So which government does the U.S. want to topple in Malaysia? The one that's in power now?
Not really. The US will just support whoever that is in power that will maintain, their interests. No. They will maintain.
Pro-Western government.
Yeah. And basically all government, even Najib, during Najib time, they like depend a lot on, foreign direct investment in Malaysia. Like all these trade agreements, they always just agree.
Right.
Yeah, the TPPA, the Trans-Pacific something agreement with the US lah, kan?
Right.
So US, you guys are the new empire. You know that, right? Yeah. You guys are the new, colonial power. Yeah. Basically using free trade and, globalization and whatever bullshit, try to control the world. So it's the same over here. And Trump is coming. I think Trump is coming to Malaysia. I think next week or next month, and people are already protesting, against a stupid president.
Right. So did any of these social media platforms enforce the law in Malaysia against posts?
They do. Yeah, they have to comply. All the social media platforms.
All of the big U.S. social media platforms, Facebook.
Yeah. They have to comply to local laws for them to be able to, be allowed, to operate in Malaysia. And just starting last year, they introduced this licensing. They tried to introduce a license where all the social media companies will have to apply, a license from the government to continue to open their office in Malaysia. But I think like Facebook comply, I think maybe X, Twitter, does not comply fully. But they still do comply whenever the government asks them to, I think, take down posts, they do. And they do provide, information about their users, Malaysian users, to the government. So yeah, until today, we still have that stupid internet law that, that the government continue to use, to go after people.
Right. So as a punk, do you have more of an anarchist or direct popular government in mind? What kind of government do you advocate for?
Now, I advocate a more grassroots type of democracy, more decentralized, power in the hands at the local level. Because right now in Malaysia, the government is so centralized, every single policy, every single program, everything. Like the education system. We have a singular education system, We have the same textbook used throughout the country. Every single school are taught the same things, same syllabus. Right. Yeah, everything is centralized, and when everything is centralized, it can easily be abused, as a way to control. Just like look at the way history is being taught in this country. History, the history textbook is just government propaganda. Yeah. It is being used to brainwash, citizens to maintain the status quo, to support the present system. Back when we were ruled by UMNO, 10 pages were dedicated to the history of the formation of the ruling party in our official school textbook. And they erased, any history involving like history of people getting together to protest, even the history of the fight against colonialism were highly censored. A lot of omissions, especially stories, involving the left-wing struggle, even the communists. So if you, going back to the question, what kind of system that
So is there any model existing now in the world that you look at and say,
Well, there are many examples where, instead of power in the hands of the elite politicians, like, in the US,
so
all over the globe, hence
what
power
country
to make decisions. The examples, specific examples. Just look at Porto Alegre, where they experimented with participatory budgeting. Instead of some elite politician, decide, make their decision how to allocate the budget, where to allocate the funds, the public funds, for projects. Yeah, the citizens decided, through this process called participatory budgeting. So those are examples of where, instead of, having all these elite politicians, ministers to make all the decisions, why not give more power to citizens to make those decisions, collective decisions together? So that's the type of democracy that I want to be part in, where we as citizens, as regular citizens, we have more say
so that's
in
a
decisions
city
in our name, the laws and policies.
That's a city in Brazil, Porto Alegre?
Yeah, it's a city in Brazil.
Right.
Read up on that. Participatory budgeting, such a good project. And there are many other, all these different projects that try to give more power to citizens. Just in America, you guys also have, I think, referendums and initiatives. Yeah. Just like when some states, legalize marijuana through like initiatives and referendums. Yeah. That was pushed by the public to their local lawmakers. So I think we need those. I think we need more channels like that. More channels, where citizens can influence
tell us
laws and policies.
A little bit more about what it's like to live in Malaysia? I mean, is there like a national health system? Is there public education?
Oh yeah, luckily, unlike America, we do have a good public healthcare system. Yeah, it's free.
Really?
You just have to pay 1 Malaysian ringgit for any treatment.
And what about
surgery? It's 1 ringgit.
Higher education, is that also free or?
The higher education, we have a public and private system. Higher tertiary education. So the public education system, the public universities are highly subsidized. People only have to pay like 10% of the actual fees. Subsidized by the public. And then by the same time, we still have private universities that are very, very expensive.
And what about housing?
Have the support system.
What about housing? Is it subsidized?
We do have public housing system, but it's not so good lah. Again, it's still not that accessible to people lah. A lot of people still, cannot afford to own their own home in Malaysia. Malaysia is another capitalist country lah, and you have to pay for everything lah. It's the same everywhere lah.
Those are three pretty big things: health, housing, and education. You seem to say those are somewhat handled by the government.
Yeah, but still, like the universities in this country is still, the students are still heavily controlled. We still have this law called the Universities Act, that I think the students in this country, the university students, are not even allowed, to organize their own programs on campus without the need to ask for permission, approval from the university authorities, administration. It's ridiculous. They need to send in their proposal, to be vetted, and to be approved. If the program is not approved, they are not allowed to proceed with their program. Like so many times, university students. I'm just talking about 2 years ago. Just last year. Students, invited me for a talk. Their program got cancelled by the university authorities. I got banned so many times from talking to students at public universities. So that is still the current state in Malaysia. The government are so afraid of young people, so afraid of university students because of history lah. If you look at now in Indonesia, if you look at Nepal, it's the young people, university students are the ones at the front lines of, protests. And I think compared to the US, street protests, it's still in Malaysia, in this part of the region, it's the governments are afraid of protests, are afraid of protesters, are afraid of young people because they are capable of, bringing down governments. Yeah. Look at Nepal, man. It took them about 3 days, the Gen Z protesters, to bring down their government.
Right. But you say
it's harder over there in the States, lah.
You said the current administration is a continuation of this government, this corrupt politician you mentioned.
Yeah.
Just
all the laws are still
continuation.
in the same. Yeah. We still have the same laws. They still have the same policies, and we're still working with the old ruling party. The current government it's made up of this. It's a coalition government of all these different parties, because no single. We use the same system as the stupid British system lah, kan? The Westminster system. Yeah, we have a parliament. Yeah, and the parliament. Yeah, whoever that controls the majority of seats in parliament, they form the federal government. Their leader becomes the prime minister. But in the last election in 2022, yeah, no single party won, a majority seats in parliament. So they had to form a coalition government. So the previous ruling party, UMNO, that corrupt, authoritarian, right-wing party, is in government right now. Yeah, their leader, this corrupt guy called Zahid Hamidi, who had 47 charges, corruption charges, he was appointed as the deputy prime minister. And after he was appointed deputy prime minister, all the charges, were dropped. The Attorney General, decided to not proceed in the criminal charge for corruption against the current deputy prime minister. So that is the system. It's still the same. Yeah, only different face. Yeah.
But at least this man ended up. He's in prison.
Oh yeah. At least. Yeah.
In the United States, there are people I think who've stolen more money, as much money, who are not in prison. Yeah. Something is working. If he ended up in prison, I mean.
Oh yeah, because I think civil society, man, the people's movement, it's becoming stronger and stronger. Yeah, especially like I mentioned, the culture of protest. Yeah, I think that's where art, plays a very significant role in spreading this culture of protest and defiance and resistance against, this corrupt government. And now I think, I'm happy to report, it's still very alive. This year alone, we had so many protests by all these young people, and their protests are so creative. Back when 10 years ago, the protests were, people don't even carry protest signs or banners during street protests because it was illegal, as you remember. But now, because of activism, and the people's movement that push for our right to more free speech, more free expression, more, free assembly. Yeah. Now the young people are going down to the streets and carrying protest signs, placards, colorful banners. And so, So protests in Malaysia right now, it's huge, it's big, and it's normalized.
So is there an opposition? Is there an opposition party that you support, or you?
Nah, the main opposition party right now is this Islamic party, this ultra-conservative, right-wing Islamic party. Then they were in power for 2 years. I was investigated more than 12 different times. I was called into the police station when they were in power. So every single party, I've been arrested.
Right, by both sides.
By every single party in power.
So are young people losing interest in political change that you can even...
No, young people are so interested, so invested in political change.
through those, but not through the existing parties.
Yeah, we need to always change our politicians, man. Yeah, they're like diapers, you know. You always need to change it. Yeah, and we don't want to become like a two-party system like the US. Yeah, your system is a bad system, you know. The US two-party system.
So how many parties are there in Malaysia?
There's many parties, but right now there's three main big coalitions. Yeah, so Malaysia right now is just them taking turns lah, to be the ruling party lah. Only last year lah, I think the present one is a coalition of all these different parties lah kan. But yeah lah, we need to continue. No, whoever gets into power, we need to always keep them in check. Because who are they? Who are the government? We pay their salary. It's coming from us, the taxpayers, the public, the citizen. So they are our workers. They should be working for us, not the other way around. So all the decisions that they make, they constantly need our consent. So we can elect them into power, and so we can bring them down as well. So they need to remember that. So that is one thing that I think in Malaysia, the government right now, they know that we brought down, the government before, and we will do it again. If they don't toe the line, if the government, don't listen to their citizens lah, the public lah.
Right. So it's a parliamentary. You have a local parliamentary representatives from different.
It's a federation of 12 different states, 13 different states, and every single state, have their own governments. Yeah, but at the state level, the power that they have at the state level is very, few. Just power over land, water and transport, and that's it. Yeah, everything else, it's in the hands of the federal government, the central government. Yeah. So too much power in the federal government.
Did you read Lot's comics when you were a kid or growing up? Or was that?
Did I read what comics?
Lot.
Lot. Yeah. Lot is like a popular comic artist in Malaysia. Everybody in Malaysia knows Lot and read his comics. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yep. Any questions from the audience? Yeah.
Flynn says he saw the clown image on a skater's grip tape in 2017 in Bangkok.
Oh, really? That's cool, man. Yeah. That's the power of art, man. Yeah. It's easily, easy to duplicate, easy to spread, and it's.
Yeah, I think in America, an image like that, the politician would ask you for an original drawing so he could hang it in his office. In America, I think a lot of this stuff gets very diffused by just being acceptable. There's
in Malaysia,
it's a little more
the politicians are still very thin-skinned.
It's interesting. It's something like maybe like the 19th century in New York.
Yeah, so actually I have a question. So how did Mahathir react when you showed him, your drawing of him? Mahathir. How did he react?
So initially, because at that time, it was 2016, Mahathir already had a falling out with Najib. So I think he was already started criticizing Najib at that time, and he was making all these appearances, criticizing the government at that time, even though Najib, he was still part of the ruling party. And when I gave him that, I showed him that his own caricature, it was during a book launch. Yeah, he was launching his new book. So people were lined up, with his book in hand, asking for autographs. So I also lined up, but I didn't have his book. I was in line to give him my coloring book. So initially, when I showed him the front cover, it's the drawing of the Zahid Hamidi, the deputy prime minister to Najib at that time, and he laughed at the front cover. And then I mentioned, but you're inside this coloring book as well. Let me show you. So I flipped to his page, and his face completely changed. And he made this noise lah, like this disapproval noise, but he didn't say anything because he was on stage in front of everyone, is videotaping, taking photos. So yeah, being a politician that he is, he didn't react immediately lah. He just he disapproved, but he accepted the coloring book, and then that's it. But that night I got arrested by the police.
There's another question on the chat from Flynn. When the Prime Minister went to prison, was he sent to a hard kind of prison, or does he get easy treatment?
Good question. Nah, he did. He got special VIP treatment.
Yeah.
He was, I think, he doesn't mix with the general population in the prison. He's got his own cell, his own, guards, and yeah, he even received like I think the queen, the previous queen, cooked him his favorite dessert and sent it to him in prison. That's the kind of bullshit that is still happening. This fucking corrupted prime minister, serving his 12 years prison sentence. The queen, stupid queen. So just me saying a stupid queen. If this video ever gets, published, and someone found me saying the stupid queen gave the corrupted ex-prime minister dessert in prison, I can get arrested easily. I will get arrested, the same day. Someone will file a police report against me and I get arrested. I back in 2021, I was arrested for making fun of the Malaysian queen over a Spotify playlist that I made. I made a Spotify playlist making fun, mocking the queen, and I got arrested. The police sent 20 officers to come to my house, apartment, kick a hole through my door, force themselves in, arrested me, handcuffed me, confiscated my laptop, my handphone, and my modem and router for internet connection also were confiscated. I was brought to the police station and spent 2 days in police lockup for just making a Spotify playlist. Can you believe that? Yeah, over a Spotify playlist. Let me show you. Yeah, so yeah, this one. Arrested for a Spotify playlist insulting Queen. So yeah, so in Malaysia, and we still don't have. Unfortunately, we don't have like what you have in America. Free speech. Quite absolute lah. And the free speech in America, we don't have that in Malaysia. Not yet.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, to us, to an American, it sounds like you have a lot of social services that we lack. So I don't, yeah.
No system is perfect.
Sounds like a socialist, what? Yeah.
No system is perfect.
No.
Well, no, we're not socialists. Malaysia is, so far away from being socialist. We do have, some.
In America, those things would be considered they'd be considered communist a planned economy if you had free national health and free public education and some subsidized housing. So, maybe you, like we take our free speech for granted, maybe you take your social, safety nets for granted in some way.
Nah, we don't. Yeah, we know that's what we, that's their responsibility to provide the basic needs of the citizens. So this is something that we consider as a right. It's our right as citizens to demand this thing from the government. So it's not the government that is being so good and nice to provide all these basic services. It's us, the public, that are demanding this from the government. If you refuse, we'll throw you out. So that's the way it should work, right? In the States as well.
Right.
Why don't you guys topple your stupid government again that don't provide for their citizens? Yeah.
So you think no matter which governments you bring down, those safety nets will stay in place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. You don't think there's going to
Yeah.
be a government will come in that says, what do we need this for? Yeah.
Nah, if they do that, we will bring them down. That's the power, man. That's our power as people, as citizens. We can bring down governments. We can bring them down because their office, their power derived from us, the citizens. Yeah. They cannot rule without our consent. They cannot govern without our consent.
That's a good lesson for the American audience. Anyway, thank you. It's great lecture. Great pictures.
Thank you.
And look up you have a longer documentary about Malaysia that I was looking at on YouTube.
Yeah. If you guys want to, want to learn a bit about Malaysian history, especially the hidden history of the struggle for independence from British rule, so you can watch this documentary that I made back in 2007, the one that Siti mentioned earlier, called 10 Years Before Independence. It's a 30-minute video. You can watch it on YouTube, available on YouTube, just to get some, history lesson about Malaysia.
Great graphic design in that film. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I tried. Because I'm a self-taught graphic designer, self-taught everything, self-taught filmmaker. So I just teach myself these things.
And do you subsidize?
By consuming a lot of.
Do you subsidize your work just through selling prints and things? And
I don't sell anything. So okay, one thing with my graphic design, I do design. I only accept non-design work from non-profits and non-commercial. So meaning, so I don't design for companies or corporations or businesses. Yeah, I only design posters for NGOs, community organizations, social movements. Yeah, so for the past 25 years, I've been doing that. So I don't even sell my stuff. The only times I would sell my posters or my, graphics on T-shirts is whenever I want to raise funds, to pay my fines. Other than that, I don't. And this is coming from punk lah, kan? Yeah, how punk. If you look at punk, how punk attitude and culture become commodified. Yeah, just become another product to be bought and sold by the big businesses. Yeah. That are selling rebellion. So I refuse for my work to be commodified, to be turned into a product for people to consume. I don't like for people to want to buy my poster to paste it on their home, inside their house as decoration. It doesn't belong as art or decoration. It belongs on the streets. It belongs online. That's the purpose of all my, political satire, cartoons, artwork, and is to be used by, social movements, for activism. So that's why I don't sell. Even though, I can just say, if you really like my poster, just download the graphic that I posted on Facebook and print it out yourself. I don't care. So I don't sell lah, kan. I don't practice this, my work, it's not for sale lah.
I think what Ben is asking is how do you make a living in Malaysia?
Okay. How do I make a living? When I started designing, for free for all these NGOs and non-profits, after a while, I think they started feeling guilty lah, for exploiting my labor and my time. So they started paying me. So that's how I earn a living, by, designing for all these movements and NGOs and civil society groups and activist groups. Not much money, but for me,
And you try not to work for ones that are funded by the U.S.
Pardon?
You try not to work for NGOs that are funded by the U.S.?
Okay, if the NGOs are funded by the US, but they are doing good work, I don't mind. I don't mind,
Okay,
you know,
you don't.
designing for them. Like Bersih, for example. Bersih is this coalition, you know, that are pushing for free and fair election that organize like 5 different series of big, massive rallies. They play the role of, you know, bringing back, you know, the culture of street protests. So I designed for them, and I think they receive funds from, you know, the US and whatever. Yeah, but for me, if they are doing good work and they are not, you know, a puppet of the US, you know, government or whatever, you know, I'll design for them. No problem.
Okay. Any other questions or commentary?
And CT, yeah, if you compare Malaysia and Singapore, yeah, as far as, you know, do you consider the Singapore government as still like Malaysia during Mahathir era, or are there improvements? Are people still afraid of the government, just like Malaysians are afraid of the government back in when Mahathir was the prime minister first time around?
I think down here things are very slow, right? And I think it's because the state, all right, does a good job in providing, right? They make sure that we get paid, our stomach are filled and all that. So they make sure that is covered, lah. So when people are happy, all right, I think they protest more, lah. I think part of the reason why Malaysia 10 years ago, things became so bad is because there were a lot of corruption and there were a lot of social issues, right? I think down here they play a smarter game.
But even political cartoonists in Singapore are still afraid of directly criticizing and making fun of the government and prime minister, right? Until today.
Yes. So afraid is one thing, but I think we discussed this before, lah. You know, it become normalized, right? Become self-censorship. That you're not even aware. They think that okay lah, never mind lah, it's okay, right? So that's the problem.
The cartoonists in Singapore, they're not jealous of Malaysian cartoonists. We are so free to make fun of our prime minister, but you guys still cannot.
I think, yeah, sad to say, I think they are quite self-contented lah. Right? Because you know they you know, I talk to them, they still get inspired by Cat Oliver, some of these famous American cartoonists, but you know, I wonder how come they didn't compare themselves, right? Why in America or even other parts of Southeast Asia, right? They can do certain things, then you don't even bother, right?
Yeah. So I think sometimes, you know, we do in Malaysia compare ourselves to our neighbors lah kan. So I think one thing that we are happy is that we are not like Singapore lah. In Singapore, you know, economically you guys are more well off, but you know, as far as political rights, I think in Malaysia, you know, we have a lot more freedom lah compared to our friends and neighbors, in Singapore. So I'm glad that in Malaysia that we I think successfully change the way not just the government but the public view political satire. Political cartoons, they are, you know, directly criticizing the government and the prime minister and all these politicians are acceptable now. Are not being criminalized anymore, except for, you know, criticizing the monarchy lah. But that is next lah. That is next in line for us to push for change. Yeah, it will be a bit slow. Yeah,
I think it'll be.
Yeah.
You think
know,
it'll be before England?
We'll
before
get there
England
someday.
gets. Will it happen before England or after? You think?
No, I don't think we can. I don't think we can bring down the system. The monarchy, I think, will still be there. Yeah. But I think at least we need to change the constitution lah to remove them, you know, from any. Okay. Because right now in our constitution, the king still have power to dissolve parliament, still have power to declare, you know, a state of emergency, still have power over the armed forces, still have power to elect the Prime Minister. So I think, yeah, we need to remove all this. But yeah lah, just me saying this, oh man, will get me arrested, man. Yeah. I think that's partly why lah, kan. I request that this video recording, is not published online, because it can easily get me into trouble lah for speaking my mind lah, which I do, yeah. But usually I don't say it like this lah. I always, come up with a graphic and political poster or satire, where the message is in the subtext. It's hidden. Yeah, it's.
You still get arrested.
I still get arrested, but not so far. Whenever I criticize the monarchy, I got arrested, spent a few days in police lockup, but not charged in court.
Right.
Never went to court for now.
Okay.
Even though I don't mind.
It was great.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, CT. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Are you at work yet?
Thank you, CT. Thank you, Ben.
I'm walking. Yeah, I'm walking. So
you're still walking for what?
No, I stopped at the station to do this. All right, but yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to say is punk rock all the way, man. DIY.
Yeah, man. Punk is the way to go, man. Yeah.
And we'll talk. Maybe you can do an edited version that won't get you arrested. So some people can just get an idea of what you're doing.
Then people will know that this talk has been censored and edited.
No,
I don't want that.
Self-censored maybe, or self-edited, just to protect you.
Yeah, but if it's I think it's either publish everything or not publish anything. Okay. So that's my.
Okay.
That's what I think. No editing. Yeah. But keep a copy. You have a copy, I have a copy. Yeah, maybe,
For the archive.
If you want to share it with people, just share it with people.
That's
that's what you can do. Yeah. You can upload it on Google Drive or whatever, and people ask you, hey, can I missed the last week's whatever program, man. Can I watch it? Just send them the link for them to watch. That's it.
That's a good idea. Yeah, there's no reason it has to be on YouTube, right?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be on YouTube. Yeah, just have
that's a good solution
for people to view it.
Yeah. So which means, Ben, you can control the access like to friends basically to well-meaning friends and not people who want to arrest Fahmi.
Right. If I get a request from the Malaysian government, I'll say we don't have a copy.
No, reject it.
or you can upload it to YouTube, but keep it unlisted.
Oh, right.
Keep it unlisted and just send the link to people for people to watch.
Right. Okay.
So it's not publicly searchable.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay, thank you so much. Very honest, great activist, artist, and we'll keep following your work. So have you got any new plans for the new government? Or they haven't?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah. I got so many plans, so many things to do. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And
thanks, guys.
Thanks for having me. Thanks, City, for inviting me. And thanks, Ben.
And thanks for the people who came.
And thanks for those who came. Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
All right.
Good night.
All right.
Good morning
Bye-bye.
to you. Good morning.
Yes. Yeah.
Bye.
Good night. Good morning, City. Bye.
Bye.